It's SmackDown. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania. It's post-elimination chamber. Solo Sikoa is back, and he's in the ring, and he's asking and questioning Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga if they still have his back. Solo asks him a simple question, and that very simple question is, Jacob, do you still love me? Jacob and Tama stand there. Jacob wonders. He's waiting to give Solo his answer. But wait a minute, Fatu gives him a hand gesture, and wait a minute, he lays out Solo with an Impaler DDT. Jacob Fatu has snapped. And Jacob's not done as he heads to the top and hits Solo with that signature moonsault, and he utters the words, I hate you, Solo. Tama Tonga doesn't know what to do about this though. Tama Tonga seems conflicted. But then, the next week, Jacob has a message.
What y'all thought? I was off the hinges? Huh? What y'all thought I was losing it? Huh? The crazy thing about this situation is that I'm just getting started.
The message is loud and clear, and Nick Aldis makes the match for WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu on the grandest stage of them all. Solo once told the Bloodline that losing has consequences, and it looks like Jacob Fatu is thinking that for Solo Sikoa, because remember, Solo lost to Roman Reigns in Tribal Combat on the Raw on Netflix, but then this match is brutal. It's a war. Tribal Combat here at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu beat the crap out of each other. It's a destructive fight. It's personal. It's bitter. Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa were once best of friends, and now they have turned into bitter enemies. He looks for a Samoan spike, but Fatu dodges it. Fatu then takes Solo. He looks to attack him, and he takes him and bounces his head off the announcer's table. Then he goes and climbs the top rope, and Jacob, look out, hits a massive splash through the announce table onto Solo Sikoa. He lays him out, but then they get back into the ring, and Solo hits him with a massive spinning solo. Ref counts. Is that it? And Jacob stays alive. And all of a sudden, we see an appearance from Tama Tonga. He's here. Tama Tonga has a decision to make. Who's he going to side with? Who's he going to choose? He seems really conflicted. And then Tama Tonga slowly makes his way. It looks like he's made his decision. He's going to have Solo Sikoa's back. He sides with Solo Sikoa. Or so we thought. He then turns his attention to Solo. He takes Solo, and he lays Solo Sikoa out. He helps out Jacob Fatu. The crowd is stunned. Tama Tonga has made his choice. He sides with Jacob Fatu. He heads to the top and hits that signature moonsault. Ref goes for the count, and Jacob does it. On the grandest stage of them all, Jacob Fatu defeats Solo Sikoa. A career-defining win for the Samoan Werewolf. And not only does he have a win at WrestleMania, but he also now has Tama Tonga on his side. Things get crazy, and Jacob Fatu's ready to take over. But more interesting things happen at WrestleMania. Jey Uso hits Gunther with a spear later on in the night. He goes to the top. Yeet Mania running wild, and he hits it with a massive Uso splash. He pins the ring general, and Jey Uso becomes the brand new World Heavyweight Champion. It's Yeet Mania, just like Kofi Mania all those years ago. It's a great moment. It's incredible. Jey Uso finally wins the big one and dethrones Gunther. And then after WrestleMania, Jey would be drafted to SmackDown as the World Heavyweight Champion, and John Cena would head to Raw. Speaking of SmackDown, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga would make it known. They'd make their presence felt. They are ready to take over. But all of a sudden, they're interrupted by a returning Tonga Loa. It's Tonga Loa, and he does not approve of what Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga have done to Solo. He is not happy about this. All of a sudden, oh no, this is not good. That's the music of Big Brunson Reed. It seems like he has returned from injury, and he, just like Tonga Loa, does not seem to approve of Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga's actions. In fact, he goes right after Jacob and Tama. And then he goes and he lays out Tama Tonga. He hits it with the sit-out axe driver, plants him face first right into the mat. Bronson Reed would make it clear Solo was the one who brought him into Bloodline at WarGames, and he does not approve of what Jacob Fatu has done. He looks at Tonga Loa and asks if he's with him or against him. But then Bronson Reed would make his intentions clear. He's going to destroy and bring down the dynasty of Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. In fact, they would go on and brawl for weeks and weeks on end. Total destruction. It's a feud that reminds me a lot of Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed's feud back in 2024. Now, it's Jacob who's trying to take the fight to Bronson Reed. They go back and forth for weeks backstage. They fight in the parking lot. All of a sudden, he throws Jacob off the top into glass. The next week on SmackDown, they'd brawl in the ring, and Jacob would hit a massive superplex to Bronson Reed through the ring, and the match is made for Backlash Live in Mexico. Reed and Jacob in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The match is destructive. It's a brutal war, similar to Jacob and Solo at WrestleMania, but this time it's Bronson Reed going to the honors of Solo. The match is insane, and it's a brutal fight. Jacob Fatu gets put up, he gets taken, and Bronson drops it with a Death Valley driver on the outside. He goes for the pin, ref counts, is that it? And Jacob kicks out. A brutal thump on the outside, he gets dropped, but it wasn't enough. Reed then gets on top, looks for a tsunami, but nobody's home. Jacob moves out the way, and he hits him with a super kick right to the face. And then Reed picks him up and hits him with a sit-out axe driver. But then Tama Tonga, damn it, he interferes, and he's looking to help out Jacob once again, just like at WrestleMania. Bronson Reed takes him down, and then it's Tonga Loa, and he's here to even the score. He's here to help out Bronson Reed. Reed's ready to go to war, 2v2. That's what it looks like, or so we thought. Tonga Loa does the unthinkable. He throws the chair at Bronson Reed and turns on Reed. Oh no, just like at WrestleMania, now the Tongans have both aligned themselves with Jacob. Tama Tonga lays out Bronson Reed, then Jacob hits the moonsault. He goes for the cover, and he pins Bronson Reed. 1, 2, 3. The Tongans and the Werewolf are together, and this trio is stronger than ever before. He reunites with both Tongans, and they are now ready to take over SmackDown. The Werewolf is ready to go to war with SmackDown's best. This is crazy. He's now taken out Bronson Reed and Solo Sikoa. Who can stop this trio? The next week on SmackDown, the trio would make their presence felt, and Jacob would get ready for the months to come. But then he would reignite a feud with Damian Priest, who he started to put his eyes on a few months ago. The match is set for Money in the Bank. Jacob Fatu versus Damian Priest in an absolute banger match. These two go one-on-one. They have a similar past. They both come from the streets, and they put on a banger. And then Damian Priest hits it with that clothesline, and then Damian Priest sees blood. He's setting up, looking for that south of heaven. Can he land it on the Werewolf? He looks to land it, but there's too much strength from the Werewolf. Jacob takes him out with a headbutt, and then he takes Priest and plants him with an Impaler DDT. And then Jacob's not done yet, because then he goes to the top and hits that moonsault. The prettiest moonsault in the world. He lays out Damian Priest, and he makes a statement with a big time, once again, career-defining victory. Then Jacob Fatu gets ready for the King of the Ring tournament. But before he can start the tournament, he tells the Tongans to not help him in any way, shape, or form. He tells them to focus on the tag team titles. But then the tournament starts. First round, he meets Austin Theory. After Austin Theory split from Grayson Waller, he takes Theory, counters the ATL, and hits him with Impaler DDT. And he moves on to the second round, where he meets Damian Priest once again in a rematch for Money in the Bank. In round 2, he's able to take down Damian Priest once again. And in round 3, he meets Sami Zayn of the OG Bloodline. Sami Zayn hits him with an exploder into the corner, and he looks for the Helluva kick, but then He gets a speed, a momentum. Jacob lays him out with a Samoan drop, but then carnage ensues. He hits him with a moonsault, but he doesn't go for the cover right away. He goes for another moonsault. This is too far. He hits him again. He's taking it too far. He won't stop. He won't stop, damn it. And a third one. He's beat down Sami Zayn so much that the referee stops the match, and Jacob moves on to the finals at King of the Ring. Sends a message to his opponent, but your question may be, who is the finals for Raw? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the finalist for the Raw side is none other than the OTC, Roman Reigns. And we're in for a true treat. The Men's King of the Ring finals. The finalist for Raw and SmackDown. The winner gets a World Championship opportunity at SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium on their brand. The question is, who will it be? Will it be the OTC or will it be the Samoan Werewolf? The OTC hits him with a massive Superman punch. Then he goes for a spear. Jacob counters it with a knee, though. He gets Reigns up, and he looks, and he hits him with a massive Impaler DDT. After countering the spear, he looks for a win. Can he get it? Referee counts, but no! Roman Reigns kicks out. The match is insane, ladies and gentlemen. He hits him with a massive moonsault, but no! Reigns moves out the way. He moves out the way. Then he targets Jacob and hits him with a massive spear. That legendary spear. He looks for a victory. Ref counts. Can he do it? And Jacob kicks out. Then Jacob goes once again. Another moonsault. And then he does the unthinkable, ladies and gentlemen. Ref counts. And Jacob Fatu becomes the 2025 Men's King of the Ring. My goodness. The Samoan Werewolf has punched his ticket to SummerSlam. He will get a World Championship opportunity at SummerSlam, as we now utter in the presence of King Fatu. Jacob Fatu is one of the fastest rising stars in WWE history at this point. And on the SmackDown before SummerSlam, he confronts the champion on his brand. And you already know who it is. Remember, after WrestleMania, he got traded to SmackDown. Jey Uso, the World Heavyweight Champion, defends against King Fatu. It all goes down at SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium. But then Jacob wishes him good luck, but then he tries to blindside Jey Uso, but Jey Uso was too quick. He lays out King Fatu with the spear. He lays him out. The Yeet Man is running wild. He takes Jacob Fatu, throws him out the ring, and he's ready for SummerSlam. But before we get to that title match, let's look at the tag team division on SmackDown first. The Tongans are able to defeat the Street Profits as they lay them out, and they become the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Just like the year prior, it's all lining up. Later on in the main event, King Fatu versus the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso. Which one of these two will win? The prestigious World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Will King Fatu continue his dominance, or will Jey Uso run wild and retain his championship? The crowd is loving it. Back and forth contest. Jey Uso lays him out with a super kick. He then goes to the top, just like he did the Gunther at SummerSlam. He nails the splash. He goes for the pin. Ref counts. That's gotta be it. But no. King Fatu kicks out. Then he recovers. He dodges the spear. He dodges the spear. Then he picks up Jey Uso. He gets him and hits him with an Impaler DDT. We might see a new world champion as the referee goes for the count. Is that it? And no! The Yeet Master kicks out. Main event, Jey Uso kicks out, but then he takes a massive moonsault. And then another one. He takes another one, damn it. Another one to Jey Uso. And then instead of covering him, oh no, he hits him with the stabbing Samoan spikes. Jacob Fatu has lost it. Similar to what he did to Sami Zayn during the King of the Ring tournament. He does the same thing to Jey Uso. More stabbing spikes, damn it. King Fatu has lost it. He won't stop. He won't stop. He's trying to take out Jey Uso completely. He takes him out with those stabbing spikes, and then Jimmy Uso has to step in. It's Big Jim, and he tells Jacob to stop it. He throws in the towel. Jimmy is forced to throw in the towel for Jay, similar to a few years ago. Jey Uso's been taken out. He makes a deal with Jacob, but Jacob's lost it again. He takes out Big Jim with an Impaler DDT. But, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains, we have a new World Heavyweight Champion. The fastest rising star in WWE history, King Fatu, becomes the World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium. But it wouldn't be too long afterward, Jimmy Uso seeks revenge. In the SmackDown leading up to Payback, Big Jim would be confronted by Jacob Fatu, and Big Jim would lose it. He goes towards the stage. Jacob Fatu taunts him. They get closer and closer. The referee is seeing what happens. Big Jim is looking to seek revenge on the part of Jey Uso, who Jacob Fatu bruised and battered back at SummerSlam. They confront each other, and then they get close to each other, and a brawl ensues. Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu would brawl. The match is made for Payback. It's gonna all go down. It's gonna be Big Jim versus the Werewolf at Payback for the World Heavyweight Championship. Big Jim ready for an opportunity of a lifetime, but he goes up against this new Jacob Fatu, who's been unstoppable for the whole year of 2025. But the match is a banger. Jimmy Uso gets some great offense in, hits him with a super kick, and then hits him in the back of the head with another super kick. He goes for the pin, looking to become world champion on behalf of Jay, but it's not enough. Jacob kicks out. The Werewolf is able to kick out, and then Jimmy Uso climbs the top, but he misses the splash. And then Jacob Fatu gets Big Jim and hits him with an Impaler DDT. My goodness. But then, just like he did to Jay at SummerSlam, he loses it. He loses it again with the stabbing Samoan spikes, a move that Solo Sikoa himself made famous. He goes for the cover, and that's it. He retains the World Heavyweight Championship against Big Jim. It wasn't enough. He's now taken out both Usos. And he celebrates when all of a sudden, the OTC, Roman Reigns, is back. And he takes out Jacob with a spear. But it's not too long to celebrate for Roman, as another person makes a huge return. It's Solo, and he lays out Roman with a spike. And then he goes right after Jacob, the man who took him out at WrestleMania. Solo takes him out with a spike, and then Solo hits him with those stabbing spikes, the move that Solo made famous that Jacob stole from him. Jacob took everything from Solo, including his tribe, and he even took the world title, something Solo couldn't do, but he hits him with those stabbing spikes. Solo sends a message, and then Nick Aldis makes a bombshell announcement to Jacob Fatu. At Bad Blood, it'll be a Bloodline Civil War, 6-man Hell in a Cell. It's Bloodline Civil War, Tribal Combat, 6 men, 6 members of the Bloodline through and through. Throughout the 2, 3, 4, 5 years, these 6 have had something to do with the Bloodline, and they've made this family a fortune. And it's the second ever 6-man Hell in a Cell. The first one we saw was back at Armageddon 2000. And over 2 decades later, we see the second ever 6-man Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood in 2025. And the match is crazy. All 6 competitors bruise and batter each other. But then, at the climax of the match, it'll be Solo and Jacob who climb to the top of the cell. Jacob takes Solo, and he drops him 20 feet through the table off the cell, just like Rikishi had happened to him back at Armageddon 2000 in the first Hell in a Cell. Jacob then hits the moonsault on Roman Reigns. And while everyone's distracted, he hits the stabbing spikes on the OTC. It's brutal. It's disgusting. Jacob loses it again, taking the fight completely to Roman Reigns, taking him out. And then Jey Uso takes a brutal fall through the cell as Jacob Fatu pins Roman Reigns and retains the World Heavyweight Championship inside the 6-man Hell in a Cell. No one can stop him. A few months later, Sami Zayn eliminates Drew McIntyre to win the Royal Rumble in 2026 in Saudi Arabia. During this time frame, the last few months, Jacob Fatu, ever since Bad Blood, has completely destroyed the field, defeating multiple opponents, so he looks for a #1 contender at the Elimination Chamber. It would be Braun Breaker, who spears Andrade through a pod, and he would pin Andrade to become the #1 contender for WrestleMania. The match is official. Ever since SummerSlam, Jacob has held the world title, and it all goes down on the grandest stage of them all. Remember their epic stare down on that episode of Raw when Jey Uso fought Braun Breaker? It's now full circle at WrestleMania. The two biggest stars, the two upcoming bright young stars, the two fastest rising stars go head to head. But before we get to the WrestleMania main event, it's the Usos taking the fight to the Tongans for the tag team titles. Double super kick after they hit them with the 1D. They line up Tama Tonga, they both head to the top, and they put the nail in the coffin, the finishing touches, with a monstrous double Uso splash onto Tama Tonga. Referee counts, and a WrestleMania moment happens. The Usos reunited, become the new WWE Tag Team Champions. It's insane. We then get to the monstrous main event of the two fastest rising stars in professional wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship as Braun Breaker makes his entrance at WrestleMania.
Hell, Godzilla versus King Kong. Hell, you ain't Godzilla or King Kong, cause I'm both. They don't make them like me no more. Hell, they ain't never made them like me. See, I'm off the scale with it. All raw, uncut with it. See, I'm all gas, no brakes with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely iconic visual as Jacob Fatu makes his speech before his match at WrestleMania, and he's joined by a special surprise, Armando Alejandro Estrada. World title is on the line. Estrada representing Jacob Fatu. The future is now. Breaker and Fatu, WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans, live. And it's an absolutely grueling bout between the two future bright young stars of this company. Breaker hits her with that signature Hurricane Rana from the top rope, and then Fatu heads up to the middle rope, and he looks, and he lands a massive diving headbutt, Samoan Bulldozer Umaga style. Braun Breaker runs at him ringside looking for a spear, but he gets laid out with a super kick. Then Jacob hits him with the running hip attack. Once again, Umaga style, shout out to him. And then Breaker hits him with a gut check right to the midsection. Breaker then lines him up looking for a spear, but Jacob catches him and turns it into an Impaler DDT. Referee counts, crazy maneuver, but it's not enough as Breaker kicks out. And then Jacob heads to the top looking for that moonsault, but nobody's home. Braun Breaker moves out the way, and he nails it with a spear right to the midsection. And now ref goes to the count again, and now Jacob kicks out. And then Fatu puts Breaker up and takes him down with a Samoan drop. Then he goes to the top and looks and nails the moonsault off the top rope. Referee counts. He may retain here, but no. Breaker kicks out again. And now he looks for another one, but Breaker moves again. He moves out the way. He lines up Fatu and nails him with another spear. He then gets Fatu up again, takes him out, runs up against the opposite ropes, and nails it with a suicide spear to the outside. Breaker spears Fatu in half. He spears him in half to the outside. The fans are going crazy. Armando Estrada is in disbelief. I'm going crazy. The commentators are going crazy. And now Breaker lines him up and nails him with another spear right to the midsection. He goes. He pins Jacob Fatu. And the next big thing becomes official. The boyhood dream comes true as Braun Breaker becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. He does it on the grandest stage of them all in a match that was set up all the way back on Raw back in 2024 when Breaker fought Jey Uso for the Intercontinental title, and we saw that quick stare down between him and Fatu. It becomes full circle, and the future is now as Breaker does it, and that is how Jacob Fatu should dominate WWE.